Yo, what's going on, all you GBA type people? It's your boy Aaron 2 for 20. I'm bringing you guys my week 2 team builder versus Goldoa Dragon coach of the New York Empoleons. Now, this build I can definitely not take credit on alone. I got a fuck ton of help, and by a fuck ton of help, I mean he actually built my team this week because I was crunched for time and I enlisted help from other services. So, thank you to the Flying Bird. He is actually here in call with me to go over the team.
Hello. Hello.
It is my favorite Aussie builder, and he is here to enlighten us. He's the Mama Kang, and I'm just a little kid in the pouch. As you can see here, it's actually the first mon. So, Bird, take it away.
The first thing that I want to talk about is actually the matchup itself. I need to find the matchup. Now, just a subtle hint. Aaron didn't tell me he had Vikavolt until after I built the team. So a lot of these calcs are actually for Electivire.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I remember that I gave the matchup, I think, a few days before transactions even went out, and then I forgot to update the matchup until like the day before with the Vikavolt. So there's a lot of Electivire calcs into these spreads, but it seemed to still work fairly well even when I played around versus Vikavolt in matchups. So,
Golda's team was... There was two sort of real things that I noticed. One, we don't have a Victini check. As everyone knows, Victini is the most broken Pokemon in GBA history.
Round 1 first pick.
First overall pick, I would have it. He does not have a Dark Resist. His sort of best Dark Resist was Bishop and Gardevoir. And I was looking at calcs with Hydreigon and I was like, oh, that's fine. That's still 2 shots with Dreadplate. And just recovery, but the first one was Mega Kang, and the important thing to note about this is this EV spread will sound really janky, because I think it's designed to take a cross chop after rocks, and might be 2 cross chops. Aquatail originally, and you'll see why with the second one, because it was sort of built. I built in pairs, if that makes sense. Because Facade should always be on Kang. Facade or Double Edge or Return, you needed not, and it was really for his melodic. Switching to Mega Kang was melodic, and I really saw that as a way to potentially get off a Facade. Also as well, the Ditto, which was a really possible bring to come. This Kang spread leaves a +2 Facade from non-status Ditto. Have a whole bunch of HP and a whole bunch of defense. Ditto only has, I think, base 42 HP.
It's 48,
Facade,
so it's like 48 all around.
I know, I thought it was 42. I was going to say 50, but then I remember it was close. Facade will OHKO back the Ditto, and that was a really important calc to note. And you'll notice with a few of these sets, in the back of my mind when I'm building, but not enough that I care enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
To do with the Kang set, the speed investment was for, I think it was for like Victini, just in case it was non-speed Victini. Def was for maybe Hurricane from Thundurus-I, but Kang's main job this week was to break the melodic, also to sort of come in late game and just +2 and do what Kang does best, which is being a fucking nuke. Loud.
I mean, it's pretty much one of the best megas in format. It's so fucking fat.
Kang is such a hard mega to use. It's a bit like Mega Gardevoir.
Yeah.
You see going like insane, but it's so, you rarely see it used well, and it's the same as like Mega Kang. People use Kang and I was like, oh please, no.
Yeah, there's just so much you could do with it though. I don't get how people could just use this mon bad.
We seem to be doing a good job for week 1.
Nice and great. Alright, let's see. So, you want to go into the next mon now?
Yeah, so as I said before, I build in pairs, and Aquatail originally was on Mega Kang because this set is Thundurus. Big shout out to Turbo, because I saw Turbo's hype trailer before it got copyright strided, nuked from Kyle A. I was like, oh, that's a cool set. We should just use it with Thundurus. So as I said before, we do not have a V-Create switching. Rain Dance Thundurus with Prankster is probably our best switching for it.
Yep.
Means that we can stop the what's the other one? Gigalith. Yeah, it just outspeed a whole bunch of mons on his team. The speed stat is specifically for Victini. I think Victini at level 50 is 167.
Yeah.
So we get the +1 boost and we outspeed, and HP Water does about 60 to 70% to Victini. Nasty Plot is there for just casual breaking. You know, doing what Victini does best, and then not Victini, Thundurus does best. And the investment was that any +2 hit from Thundurus was just going to nuke his team into oblivion. Why Thundurus came. And as I said before, thanks Turbo for the great set. There's not really too much to add about that one.
Yeah, literally the only thing on this set that Thundurus could not beat, well, the only thing on his team that Thundurus could not beat was Venusaur. And I know a lot of people in my front office started trashing this Thundurus specifically because it didn't have Psychic for Mega Venusaur. But when I was messing around with the team in mocks, I realized that Mega Venusaur got broken pretty well between Kang, Hariyama, which I'll get to in a little bit, and Hydreigon again, which will come in a little bit. But I didn't really feel like Psychic was very needed, so I actually was with Bird on this one. I felt like the set was very useful in terms of just the rest of Goldoa's team in general. So next up we have Donphan. This was a mod that took a while. Oh, what were you gonna say?
To go back onto that as well, the Rain Dance as well, I knew that Goldoa is essentially playing with 25% recovery. Therefore, he has to really attack offensively with the Venu. Unless he's going to be like a Rest Talk Mega Venu, but I don't know. I've seen some wacky sets in the GBA. Maybe we'll see a Rest Talk Venu come 1 week.
Very true.
Really just one of those things that I thought, well, there's not going to have that much like recovery, so there's no point trying to over-recover like Venu. I don't rate Venu that highly in the metagame. You have, as you said before, 3 other really nice checks to it, so... Next up, we had Donphan. Donphan had a fun nickname, but apparently we're not allowed to use it. And I'm upset because it was a good nickname. Oh well, we live and learn.
Yeah, it was like one of the only ones that would even fit anyway. The rest of yours were like 16 long, like look mom, I'm Turbo with your Thundurus.
Look mom, I'm Turbo, yep. And then the Donphan was Gypsy Slayer. So the set this week was Stealth Rock, EQ, Rapid Spin, Ice Shard. The attack investment is 2-shotting Flygon with Ice Shard. EQ is for Victini. It's meant to take 2 V-Creates, I'm pretty sure, and that's why it's lefties as well. Bishop and other things as well. Like the whole thing about Goldoa's team is, yes, he does not have a very good like ground switching, and that's why Vikavolt sort of then became apparent. I was like, oh, maybe I should prep for Vikavolt, and I was like, no, not really. Unmon. Dazed.
Yeah, I think we made one change on the entire team for Vikavolt, and it wasn't even an investment spread. It was just a moveset on a mon that we will get into later, and that was the only change for Vikavolt we made.
Unmon.
Yup.
Q helps there. Rapid Spin was to get rid of his own hazards. There's no point bringing Defog Thundurus, unless I could defog away the sand, but I don't think that's how mechanics work.
Nope.
Oh, what a shame. Yeah, and I think that's really all to cover with Donphan.
Yeah, there wasn't really much with Donphan. It was sort of just it was pretty much a filler mon this week, to be honest. Next up, we have the pride and joy, I feel like, of this build, the Hydreigon this week.
I haven't been this excited for a set in a long time. Oh, I love it. So this one is called Burn. Oh no, it's not.
It'll be burned soon.
It's called Medusa. That's what I called it. So I was like, the Heater Bro is a bit of a hose. I saw, as I said earlier, people were wondering like, oh, Mega Venu was a massive threat to every team. This Hydreigon was literally like, okay, it is a threat, but I can just taunt it, and I win the recovery war against it with Roost Taunt, Work Up, pretty much like +2 Work Up with Depulse, like 2-shotted his whole team. And then I thought as well, like, his only real switch into it was Gardevoir, and we have a really nice like defensive pivot being Bronzong. Well, if we're going to bring Bronzong this game, yes, he'd have to like make the prediction of, oh, Gardevoir comes in on this +2 Hydreigon. Oh, I can switch into my Bishop, trying to predict the double with Bronzong. And I thought like that's such a plays. It's not an unmon sequence of plays that everyone's saying, or a juice sequence of plays. I was just like, well, scenario. It's such a just very slim scenario that Hydreigon really just put it on its back. And even Victini, it takes like a turn from memory from like does like after rocks. It probably should have been invested a little bit better because it's so much like HP, but HP investment was because I wanted the leftovers number more so than I wanted the like defense and speed F investment. It's a really nice mon. The only real threat to it was Vikavolt, because I was like, oh, actually no, Hideyanda has a dark resist, but I was like, unmon.
Yeah, in game actually, the set actually worked out really well in terms of defensively, because as you'll see tomorrow in the game, there was a moment where he actually had a Banded Victini and it U-turned on this thing, and we just barely lived. So of course I'm very, very grateful for the massive loads of HP that Bird put into this. Next up, we got Bronzong. Another Trick Room variant of Bronzong. Bird, would you like to go into the set itself?
I'm gonna remember what move. I think I got rid of EQ for Toxic.
You got rid of Gyro Ball.
Okay, Gyro Ball for Toxic. That was the only like change I made when I realized Vikavolt was coming. Which looks really weird to think about. I don't know why I made a Bronzong that was ruled by Mega Venu. I thought that should. I think like don't worry about the Thundurus. It was probably still, I think, and then I think we made it Shucker Berry as well. I have Occa Berry, but I think you made it Shucker.
I made it Shucker because I had expected Molebreaker Drill. Bird thought it was going to be Sand Drill, which is why he originally put Occa Berry in the spread.
That's just because you don't have Victini switching. That's why I was Occa. I was like, I just want to make, like, worst case scenario, I was thinking, alright, let's say, theoretically, you go down like 4-2 or something really, like, bad like that. A true combination of Mons can sort of win. And that's sort of how the team sort of built, if that makes sense. So for example, Thundurus plus Mega King can win. Thundurus plus Hariyama can win. Hydreigon plus Hariyama can win. Bronzong and Hariyama can win. Hydreigon and Donphan can potentially win as well. And that was the sort of the whole mindset of it. So the Trick Room EQ, it's max defense, as I mentioned earlier, because I really expected V-Create Victini to come. There is no reason for him not to bring non-V-Create Victini, because our only Pursuit Mon was Aerodactyl. And Aerodactyl has a dog shit matchup. I sort of thought about this, and EQ was specifically for the Excadrill and Gigalith core, but not having prep that like limits opposing like gimmick sets. But I really don't like Excadrill Gigalith as a sand core. I just don't like Excadrill on sand in format. So I was thinking, well, Toxic's probably better because it's going to hit the Vikavolt. It's also then going to hit the Gardevoir. Yes, he can Pursuit the Bronzong, but that literally just means that Bishop comes in, we literally just stall out, like just click EQ, EQ, and let him kill us, and then just go into Hariyama. And Hariyama has a field. Earlier, his team was interestingly fast, had a lot of options like Tailwind, Tornadus-I. Asked Turk about Tornadus-I with Tailwind, he hates it. Excadrill plus Gigalith. Even Flygon, even though Flygon is an unmon according to some, you know, it's a very interesting mon. So I was like, well, let's bring Trick Room again. And apparently Aaron thought, I will bring Trick Room every week.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, Trick Room worked very well. I had a couple of games actually before I played Goldoa with this team that Trick Room was my win con, because Trick Room early on with Hariyama just broke through so many things that made it very easy for Kang and Thundurus to just clean up later game. So finally, we actually have our Trick Room sweeper this week, Little China, our Hariyama.
I was going to add one more thing. We're also dual rocks this week with Bronzong. No, it's not a typo. I just remembered it because I was like, Victini, A-Drive special. If it's shiny, we lose.
Yeah, I forgot about the dual rocks actually for a second. But yeah, I figured obviously it's Bird and I both agreed it's a great way to pressure Victini, because Victini coming in on rocks just takes a fuck ton of damage every time, and it could always just U-turn on something to try and gain initiative if we try and switch around it with our very limited switchings that we have. So, of course, that was a very solid dual rock idea, because if one of our rockers went down early, we had a backup late game in case he defogs. So, yeah, now we're on to Hariyama now.
So I was going to say one last thing about that rock point as well. Him adding Vikavolt was, I was like, oh, even more reason on dual rocks.
Yeah, because another mon that's weak to rocks versus Electivire, which is neutral.
Next up we have Thick Boy Hariyama. He looks a bit like Padonison, but he's not Padonison. So, this was Flame Orb Guts, really standard. Wow, I actually didn't remove the speed IVs on this set. Is it? I don't know why I didn't, but anyway.
Well, that would have been something important to check. I think my version of the set had no speed. Fairly certain I took out the speed.
In speed, you go with outspeeds it anyway. I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. That is Hariyama's best fighting stab. That's why it's a worse Gerda at Shami. And we also had Facade for Mega Venu, a two-shot Mega Venu. On his team did not want to take a CC or a Facade. Bullet Punch specifically for Gardevoir and anything else coming in late game. And Substitute was really just to ensure that we either got our burn up, or if it was last room and Trick Room, trying to predict as like a switch into Gardevoir. Unfortunately, Pixelate Hyper Voice doesn't work on regular Gardevoir, so we'd have to take like the Bullet Punch or the Facade to the face. And ideally, in this scenario, we go like, we sack our Zong, Hariyama goes in, gets 3 kills, and we sort of take the lead that way, hopefully.
Yeah, that's pretty much the idea behind Hariyama. It put in a decent amount of work in Trick Room late game, and yeah, Bert, my set actually did have the speed IVs. That was something weird. I don't know why we didn't take out the speed IVs. Oh shit. But yeah, so overall though, Hariyama was a very, very important mon. It breaks a lot of Goldoa's team. He really doesn't have any switch-ins to the moveset on his entire roster. His best way would be like Rocky Helmet Milotic, which I think actually did come if I'm not mistaken. But point is, he really doesn't have anything around Hariyama, and especially having that in addition to things such as Kang and Hydreigon and Thundurus pressure his team very, very greatly in terms of my offense this week. So hopefully the team ended up working out. You guys can check that out tomorrow in our Week 2 game versus Goldoa. If you guys enjoyed, of course, leave a like down below. I would like to give a massive thank you to Bird, especially because Bird has decided to grace us with his team building prowess for the rest of our D-League season. I'll be a lot more involved in my other builds. Oh, what were you gonna say?
$1 a month on Patreon. What a steal of a deal.
Yup, he was my only pledge. But I'm of course going to be a lot more involved in the future builds for the D-League, but I figured that this week I was really pressed for time. It was very last second that Bird offered his help, so I would just take whatever he gave me. So, of course, I will see you guys tomorrow for the game. Any last words you got, Bird?
Make sure to subscribe to Tom Z, the best GBA coach.
Yep, that'll be linked for Bird's link down below. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.